28d6. Yeah, got your attention. 28d6 of fire is just one of the many things Infiltrator Astarion can accomplish. Although it's super strong, it's not his best trick. Using greater invisibility and some tricks to keep it up, he fights completely out of initiative. He's able to cast spells, do actions, attack, not drop his invisibility at any point, unless he wants to switch to a different concentration spell. When he's visible, he's using all his Sorcerer meta magics to augment Bard abilities to make a huge asset to the team, like creating Fairy Fire in everyone in that area, with an exception of your teammates, which is a lot more handier than it sounds. Part Assassin, part Nuke Caster, he's able to create these giant explosions of fire and ice to make sure our teammates survive that saving throw, while also making sure that our enemies fail it. Hey, this is the last installment of my Origin build series. Tomorrow will be the release of my dual-wielding Paladin Warlock axed by Blackstar25, and if you want to skip around, there are chapters below. I'll see you at the end. The first level we're going to take is Bard, and the most important thing here really is to make sure that we are specialized in stealth, and when we get expertise, which is also here, make sure that we are expertised in stealth. I make sure that I would have Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire is a very, very exceptional spell, especially when tied to a Sorcerer multiclass. It is going to latch on to anybody in that area who fails a dexterity save and give them a disadvantage to be hit. I could have said that way better. It gives your enemies advantage to hit them for 10 whole rounds. The problem is it's going to affect everybody in that ring, including items on the ground, your team members, NPCs, literally anybody. But there's a way around that, and I'll show you in a bit. Nextly, we're going to make our stats 16 and 16, both in dexterity and charisma, and then we'll put a 14 in our constitution. I suggest dumping strength and then putting 10s in the last two. Our very next level, we're going to switch into Sorcerer, and the first choice you get to pick is your subclass. Now, there are a bunch of different options, and it's always really hard for me not to pick Draconic Bloodline Cold so I can get Armor of Agathis. This is going to do a bunch of different things for you, but at the end of the game, you have an opportunity to get a different type of rope that's going to augment all your cantrips. And since we're going to be using Charisma modifier, the potent ropes are always going to be a really good choice. Though it's not going to be the choice in this build, it's definitely a choice that you could effectively use. Having a draconic background will add 3 to that AC, making it basically medium armor. We're also going to be using fire and cold magic a lot, so getting red, gold, silver, or white dragon affinities is going to help us bypass both resistances and increase our damage. Personally, I think Armor of Agathis is the only decent spell out of this entire spell list that you will get per dragon, so I strongly suggest picking Cold. Out of the spell list here, I definitely suggest grabbing Magic Missile and grabbing Shield. Both those are always going to be effective no matter what level you get to. Our next level in Sorcerer is going to open up meta magic, giving us sorcery points to change the spells that we cast, and Careful Spell has been one of my new favorite ones lately. Using Careful Spell, you automatically make any one of your allies succeed the saving throw if they're in that area, meaning you can pop up Fairy Fire in a whole crowd of your teams fighting another group of people and completely ignore your friends. Our next level in Sorcerer is going to unlock more meta magic for us, giving us 2 new options, Heightened and Quickened Spell. We're going to go with a Heightened Spell here. It gives them disadvantage on a saving throw of the spell that you're casting with it. Upcasting a spell like Hold Person with Heightened Spell on it will basically become an entire party kill. We'll also get access to the Sorcerer 2nd level spell list. I definitely suggest grabbing Darkness. We'll be using a ring later to give us complete immunity to blindness, and we'll make sure that we pick up the spell Scorching Ray. This hurls 3 bolts of fire, each doing 2d6 each bolt, and then it is upcasted to add additional balls of fire. Upcasted to a 6th level, it is 14d6, and because it is a ranged spell attack, it is able to be crit. So connected to some kind of paralyzing, where it is an automatic critical hit, it equals out to 28d6 fire damage. And I know what you're saying, well, you only get 1 6th level spell slot, but you know, 24d6 is also a shit ton of d6s, so it is an incredibly strong combination that I definitely suggest you trying out. Our next level in Sorcerer opens up our feat. Let's move our charisma up to an 18 with the ability score increase. Our next level in Sorcerer opens up 3rd level spells, and this is where all the damage and fun stuff really starts. Fireball is one of the OG damage spells, and Sleet Storm is one of the best control spells in the game, like hands down. I definitely suggest grabbing those immediately. Our next level is actually going to go back into Bard, giving us our 2nd level Bard, unlocking Song of Rest, which is just a fun way to get more HP in between battles. Our next level in Bard opens up our subclass, and we're going to pick College of Lore. This augments our Bardic Die ability to then use it to negate other enemies' attacks and saving throws, which is a great time to talk about Hold Person. Hold Person is a spell that comes with Bard and Sorcerer. It paralyzes the foe, meaning that any melee attack or ranged attack done in a close amount of range is an automatic critical hit. And now, with both Heightened Spell and Cutting Words, there is no absolute way that they will be able to pass if you really don't want them to. Our next level in Bard is going to open up another feat, and we'll be moving our charisma to 20. Our next level is going to go back into Sorcerer. With this level, it increases the elemental type damage that we chose from our dragon ancestry, and we get to pick additional 3rd level spells. I suggest Hypnotic Pattern. It's a very, very good way to use meta magic to keep your party safe and just totally skip your enemy's turns. Our next level in Sorcerer opens up Greater Invisibility in Ice Storm with 4th level Sorcerer spells. Greater Invisibility is like regular invisibility, but greater. And a better way to explain it would be that you're able to cast magic, make actions, and do all the fun stuff that would usually break regular invisibility. Problem is, to differ from its 5e counterpart, Baldurs Gate 3 makes you roll a stealth saving throw at the start of every turn. Because our dexterity is so high and we have expertise in stealth, typically we won't really have a problem, but there is one sure way trick to make sure that we would have to roll a natural 1 to drop our greater invisibility. Having a party member cast a spell called Pass Without Trace will add 10 to any stealth roll for any party member within a certain vicinity, making it literally impossible for a halfling to ever drop greater invisibility, as halflings will always reroll their 1s. Well, unless you're incredibly unlucky and roll once twice, but regardless, it's a dope trick to always keep this spell going, and as you start conflict, your party will jump into initiative, but you will be remained outside of it, free to do whatever the hell you want. And with our last spell into Sorcerer, we get another ability score increase that I would just move our dexterity up to 18. The equipment for this build is incredibly easy. I mean, the Spider Silk armor is a huge asset, and you get that off of Minthara's body at the Goblin Camp. It's a +2 light armor, gives a bonus to your stealth checks, and gives you advantage on all your constitution saving throws, meaning that all your spells will keep up even if you get tagged. I also really enjoyed the Covert Cowl. You can get this off of the demons that are living underneath the Last Light Inn. Check all of their bodies, one of them will have this. It lowers your critical threshold by 1 and increases your dexterity saving throws. But it only lowers it if you are obscured, and there's ways that we're going to use obscurity to our advantage. To increase spike damage, I like using the Amulet of Branding. Gives us a bonus action skill we can use once a long rest to give someone vulnerability to piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning, meaning that we would do double damage on a singular hit. Except this bad boy lasts for 3 turns. I also really enjoyed the Disintegrating Nightwalker boots. These boots let you cast Misty Step on a short rest. It also stops you from being slipped, ensnared. You can't drop off grease, you can walk on ice, and seeing how we're going to be using Sleet Storm and Ice Storm and everything, these are very handy. You can get these off of Nir's body. He's the drow that totally deserves to get got at the Dwarven Forge. I also just realized that I didn't tell you where to get the Amulet of Branding. Sorry, I am a little under the weather right now, and I am too lazy to go back and re-edit. So, let's just rewind. The Amulet of Branding can be found at the creche on the body of the merchant only if you kill her. She does not sell it. Speaking of the merchant from the creche, see, it wasn't a mistake, it was actually just an intro. The Knife of the Undermountain King is also a very, very good short sword I would use on this build. It reduces your critical threshold as long as you're obscured. You'll also have advantage on those attacks, as while it is +2. You can buy that off of her. It is a great coupling to dual wield with the Justiciar's Scimitar. This is a scimitar that you can find off of the last Justiciar, the Rat Man in Shar's Gauntlet. It is a +2 scimitar that if you are attacking with advantage, you have a chance of blinding the target. It also comes with a skill called Shadow Soaked Blow, and this is a really dope weapon skill that lets you attack from hidden spaces, invisibility and such, and not break that hidden space. You can couple this with the invisibility spell or just a really good stealth check and really get into that spy fantasy. And absolutely necessary to use with anyone with the darkness spell, the Eversight ring can be found in Act 2. This ring makes you completely immune to being blind, whether by magical darkness or some kind of ability that would blind you. You can find it all the way at the end of the poisoned morgue right across all those zombies. I also really like the Ring of Exalted Morrow. This is a fun ring that you can get right at the end of Act 2. It is in a chest right at the top of Moonrise Towers. It comes with a cool skill called Ghoulish Touch. This is just a fun new way to inflict paralyze on a target, therefore completely stopping their actions and making all of yours automatically critical. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the build. I want to thank all of my sponsors, but especially these guys right here. Anybody who is in the Adventurer or higher in the YouTube memberships get put in the ending credits and automatically get put into the week's raffle that pulls every Sunday. This coming Sunday, I'm giving away my Dice sweatshirt. It's my #1 seller at Expos and my favorite thing to wear personally. I have it on constantly. It's very soft. It's super good. You can click the join button or click the link in the description to join the memberships to try to win yours in the raffle, or you can find one at rollforbooty.com. I'll see you guys around. Bye. Love you.